Time to defeat this evil Aurora on Inferno difficulty, guys. One of the toughest bosses in the entire game because she rages, and if you're not dropping down her counter, she will absolutely wipe your entire team. Now, in today's video, guys, I'm gonna share with you one of the slightliest easiest strategy that you guys can use versus this boss, because it doesn't necessarily require the craziest units in the game. Of course, each account is different, okay? So you might not have some of these units, but I will walk you through what replacements you could potentially use in order to get this job done. We're not going to use Lily in the team. Now, for my team, I am using Lily, but for the video, I'm going to show you guys something a bit different. And truth be told, I have a feeling that this actually has a much better win rate than the one with Lily. The whole idea is the resources are so freaking scarce in this game that I just do not have the options to build more characters to be able to show you guys different teams, different guides, etc. And that's mainly because, hey, we have no freaking resources, no lettuce to make salads, and no shadow prints to 6-star more units. But you guys know exactly how it is, so there's no point for me to explain you. The reason why you want to prioritize farming Aurora, guys, is because you can get the Ether module, the Smite, which gives you speed and effect accuracy. This is massive for support units, not to mention that slowly we are moving into a completely different meta for PvP, where, I mean, not completely different, do not get me wrong, because speed is still going to be king, but this time around, instead of just going with speed, you're gonna go with speed and with immunity, with a bulwark set, right? I already have some units built on this set, and it will be extremely, extremely important, especially if you enjoy PvP. Even if you do not enjoy PvP, you can get the Fury set from here, you can get a Momentum. The Momentum is a very, very good set. This boss will have a couple of side minions as well, guys, which will have a chance to dispel buffs from you. Basically, the boss will put a debuff on you. It will gain a stack of buffs on herself, which, if you're not breaking down to a small amount or completely, she will deal crazy, crazy damage. So you have this Anger at 15 stacks. Aurora immediately uses the Lingering Grudge to counterattack Undispellable, okay? So you wanna crack on and hit as many times as possible to get the boss down. She is pretty damn crazy, as I've mentioned. Now, for today's video, guys, we are going to use the following team. We're going to use Valerian, we're going to use Holden, Linglu. Everybody has Linglu. I would strongly recommend it to 6-star her. I actually 6-star mine yesterday. She's huge in PvP, huge in PV. I don't have to tell you guys, you know it. She is the best healer in the game. I'm going to use Rosa, and I'm going to use Tsukiyomi. So Tsukiyomi will kind of like replace Lily. At least she does replace Lily in my team. Now, I do have a problem with Tsukiyomi. I have no skill ups in her. She's only at 5-star, level 27. So because of it, I actually had to give her a time we've set to decrease the cooldowns of her skills. Now, if, for example, I would not have Lily available on my account, I would 1000% invest lettuce into her second and third skill on Tsukiyomi. She's absolutely amazing. I've been telling you guys for a very, very long time. And she will get the job done. You don't want her to be the fastest in the game. You want to have the buff stripper faster than her to ensure that it's going to drop the immunity. And if you have Rosa, if you're using Siada, if you're using Yeli, or a different DPS, to be able to land the debuff, okay? Because that will overall help you. Now, I do want to quickly give you guys a couple of different examples if you do not have some of the specific units. Another very good healer that works great in here is actually Mia. I do not have Mia, unfortunately, but she can dispel buffs from the boss, which is going to be like a secondary buff stripper, which is really, really good. Valerian is definitely pretty solid in here, but you can definitely replace her if you want to. Maybe you invested in Mia and not in Linglu. You can try and replace Linglu with Mia. Most likely it will work, but I am not 1000% sure because I do not have Mia to try that out. Now, instead of Holden, guys, who is the buff stripper, I do need to have him as well on a time with set. But instead of him, you can use Viper. One thing that I don't know, like stupidly shocked, okay? You look at his skill, Holden, an SSR unit, does what he does, but he doesn't do that much of a thing with his skill. Strips to one buff, actually, a chance to dispel a buff and apply attack and resistance down on a 4-turn cooldown. But then you go and you look at Viper, which is an SR unit, okay? And you're gonna be like, wait a minute, is this the real SSR and Holden is the SR? Because this one will be on a 3-turn cooldown and will have a chance to dispel one buff and a chance to inflict attack down and decrease speed. Now, decreased speed, in my opinion, is much better than the decreased resistance. This boss, unlike the freaking shell bosses, it doesn't seem to have a stupid amount of resistance. So my Holden has a little bit under 100%, and I never really see him getting resisted, which is actually really, really good to see. But Viper works amazing. Currently, I am working on getting him built up as well. I need to do, I think, one more skill on Fungus with my Epic Lattice. Then I will be moving on to Viper. And most likely he won't be my next 6-star, but I'm definitely going to skill him up next after I'm done with Fungus. So Viper, very, very good instead of Holden. My opinion, actually better because he has a shorter cooldown. So no need to use a Time Weave, or you can use a Time Weave and actually have a shorter cooldown too. Now, the whole idea is that you kind of like want to match when the buff stripper is using the skill. It needs to be before the damage dealer. Now, because I'm using Tsukiyomi in the team, sometimes my Rosa will go in front of Holden before he strips the immunity, which is not necessarily a good thing because we cannot apply the decreased speed on the boss, right? But that's why using a Viper instead of Holden is going to be better. I do prefer Holden for PvP. That's why I actually prioritize building him first. But without further ado, let's crack on it. We're going to talk about shells. We're going to talk about builds and everything else after. Now, in this team, guys, having a couple of artisan shells, in my opinion, is really, really important. And that's mainly because you are going to have that extra beefy shield that will help your characters to stay alive. So Holden strips the immunity. Then, of course, we have the freaking minions dispelling some of our buffs. If they dispel the increased attack from Rosa, it kind of sucks. But thankfully, we have 2 increased attacks. We landed a decreased speed. We landed a debuff. Revelation is absolutely a must-have on your damage dealer, because without Revelation, you won't be doing a lot of damage. Now, the good thing with Rosa is that we don't have to build her with full crit rate, which actually really enables us to push high attack. The higher the attack on your character that wears the Revelation, the more damage you are going to deal, because that is basically based off 150%, I think it's 150%, right, of the wearer's attack. So the more attack you have, the higher the damage. And as I've mentioned, if you can time them, you see Holden, Holden strips the immunity right before Rosa goes as well with her 3rd skill too. Now, Tsukiyomi is absolutely amazing in here. As I've mentioned, I do think she's actually better than Rosa, than Lily. One of the main things is you want to use as many magic units as possible, blue units, magic from a different game, because you are strong affinity. The boss will do less damage versus them, so that's really, really good. And she decreases the cooldowns of shells and skills for the entire team with her 2nd skill. Now, at the moment, I have both of those ones on a 5-turn cooldown because I have no lattice into her. But once you are getting that up and running, especially if you're not a Lily user, if you don't have her available, I cannot recommend you enough to build Tsukiyomi, okay? Invest the lattice into her, you're gonna have 0 freaking regrets, okay? And like that, even if you keep her on a Time Weave, it's gonna be even crazier. Like, you're gonna farm this boss so much faster. Instead of Rosa, even though she's a multi-hitter, I think the 2nd best option after Rosa, it might be Yeli. That's something that I do not have available, so I was not able to test to kind of like see how they compare. But I think Yeli is a very, very good option. Siada can be really good because she deals stupid damage, right? Which will take the boss down really, really quick. Chloros could potentially work too. You kind of like want to have multi-hitters. So if you're paying attention right here at my mouse cursor, what are the debuffs and the buffs on the boss, she will gain a stack maybe any minute now if she's not going to die before that. And that's a counter. There you go. We have a 12 counter on it. So every hit we place on the boss will take that, the 15 counter, sorry, this one to the right. My bad. You see the far right here? We dropped it to 14. The more hits we proc, the more we take it down. And the faster we take that down, the better, because the boss won't get to absolutely dump on our team. Okay, so you want to avoid leaving the boss with that on. That's why multi-hitting characters are the best in here. That's why Rosa is one of the best. And yeah, that's pretty much it. 3 minutes and 27 seconds. As I was mentioning, I do think that Tsukiyomi is better than Lily in this team, and most likely I will keep the team as it is and probably won't use Lily instead of her. The thing with Lily, it works, right? But it does have around 30-40% fail rate, which kind of sucks. With Tsukiyomi, I've already done around 7 runs and I had 0 losses. Now, it might be just a very good RNG, and that's why I have no losses, but I think she does work much, much better. I have so many different characters that I'm planning to build. I really do not know when I'm going to put a lattice into Tsukiyomi. So it's just hard, man. Like, you guys know it. I don't have to tell you. You guys freaking know it. So let me just go over characters. Rosa. Now, one thing that I would kind of like want to work on her is getting this freaking unparalleled to crit rate, okay? Getting this to crit rate would be better because I would have 100% crit rate when she buffs. Right now, I have only 57. My goal is to get to 70% because she will buff with 30% crit rate. The higher the attack, the better. So as you guys can probably notice, I have 1 crit damage, I have 1 attack, and 1 attack. Now, if I would have another attack percentage one, I would most likely drop the crit damage and put the attack instead. So I have even more damage from Revelation. It's actually 180% of self-attack, not 150. 150 is at base level, if I remember it correctly. So that is actually really, really good for this shell, to basically dump a lot of damage on the boss. Then, if we are going to move on to the next unit, we have Holden right here. So Holden does have an artisan shell. He's at around 249 speed. I only have 95 effect accuracy on him, and I have 75% crit rate. Now, Rosa will buff him with crit rate, but only after he takes a turn, and then he will be at full crit rate for pretty much the entire duration of the fight. In terms of gear, I basically have Time Weave, and I have Swift. So 12 and 12 is very, very important to bring in the Time Weave, so you have a 35% chance to reduce the cooldown of all of the Animus' skills by 1 turn. This is one of the most powerful module sets in the entire game, guys. So basically, I have an effect accuracy, I have a defense, and I have a crit rate. That's how I'm splitting it on him for pretty much all of the content, because he is very needy in terms of stats, and it's pretty hard to make sure that you're getting him to the right spot, especially if you don't have all of his skills leveled up, right? That will make a difference. You get more defense from there, then you move into this one, you get more speed from here. Every little helps. I only have his 3rd skill maxed. Now on Rosa, I don't think I showed you, I have her 2nd, the passive, and the 3rd skill maxed. This is something that I would recommend you to do as well in order to get the most out of her. Moving on to the next unit, we have Linglu, absolutely a beast. I finally maxed her 1st skill the other day. At some point, I will max her 3rd skill too, because we can reduce the cooldown. That's one of the main reasons why I want to do it. But she provides so much healing, so many well prayer on our characters, especially that she extends the duration of buffs. Absolutely crazy. Now, for a shell, I actually have the Supernova, Swift, Bulwark. I do have her build on Swift and Bulwark because I am using her in PvP. But this build is basically going to work pretty much everywhere in the game. So nothing to be changed in here. The only thing that I'll be playing around with is the shell. And once I'm going to be able to get one with 3 matrix effects and get better healing or more speed or something else, I will drop this harvest piece from here for something better. Then moving on to the next one, we have Valerian. She's basically fairly slow. I would prefer her slightly slower if possible. Basically, Wellspring and Cure. The shell is a gigabyte. I do have the Ether Plague in here, but nothing for her just yet to basically use it. Swift Rush and Cure. I don't really care about having the Swift Rush on the Matrix effect, but it is what it is. Skill-wise, the second and the third skill max. Why should you max the second skill? Because of the cooldown. Now, is this a must-have? Probably not, but I do want to have a shorter cooldown on my units. In terms of gear, basically we have HP, HP, HP. You want to have crazy HP on her, even though mine is not that crazy. It's still something that I'm working on. And I think this should be the final unit, if I am not mistaken. I think I showed you 4 already. We have Tsukiyomi, Time Weave, and Swift Rush. Now, her speed is not crazy. 231 speed, 8 pieces of Swift Rush, 12 of Time Weave. The main reason is because my Artisan is with Swift Rush, Bramble, so I'm not planning to change this. I want to keep one with Bramble and Swift Rush to make sure that I have flexibility on my builds. I do have another one that has Time Weave and Swift Rush. I do have Colors Guard in here. I would prefer the other set that gives me speed and accuracy instead. It would be much, much better. I am definitely planning to build another Artisan at some point to have 3 of them at max level, but that's probably something that I'll be doing in like a couple of weeks or so, because as it is, it works just fine. Now, the good thing about Tsukiyomi, you want to prioritize tankiness on her. So I have an HP right here, I have a defense, and I have an HP. I would put in another defense on her, but I just do not have another piece with defense percentage and a bit of speed. And even if I would have one, to be honest, I have no freaking Etheria coins. These devs really need to wake the fudge up and start fixing this bloody economy, because it's just absolutely horrendous to play the game with no Etheria coins. I'm farming 1,000 stamina. I'm getting 1 million Etheria coins. I'm coming out of the freaking fight. I go to check a couple of pieces if they roll speed. I level 1 up from level 12 to 15 and I'm done. I have nothing freaking left, which is crazy after 1,000 stamina. But either way, that's a story for another day. Nothing skilled up on her, as I've mentioned. I would 1,000% love to skill up her third skill and her second skill, because they will reduce the cooldown, and that is going to be absolutely massive. Okay, that's pretty much it, guys. If you enjoyed the content, do me a favor, smash a like, subscribe to the channel. It really, really helps a lot, and I will catch you all in the next video. Peace.